Let's get going. So just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture, and you can have your feet about a hip's width apart, your knees about a hip's width apart, and just feel the sensation of your feet either on the floor, flat on the floor, or underneath your legs. And just imagine your spine is this a beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So just lengthen your spine, putting some space in between the vertebrae. Also feel the weight of your hands in your lap, in the meditation mudra or not. And now go to the crown of the head and just release any tension there. Relaxing the scalp on the crown of the head, the forehead, the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, the back of the tongue, the jaw, the ears, the inner ear, and the back of the head. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And notice the sensation of the breath as you inhale and exhale. And then be aware of any distractions in your environment, any sound, notifications. So just allow all of those to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. And then just be aware of what is going on in your mind this evening, this afternoon, whichever country you're in. And just allow all those thoughts to kind of bubble up and abide. And then, you know, try not to give many of those thoughts too much energy by continuing to follow the story. And then also try not to judge what's in your mind. And then we think about our equanimity meditation. So our loved ones, these people that you hold so dear to you, are strangers. And then, you know, the ones we have kind of aversion for. And then just remember these people, they're all equal. They all want to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So tonight is also, well, as I said yesterday, it's being celebrated Lama Zopa Rinpoche's birthday. They determined it was December 3rd. Although I think actually I don't know that they in fact have records up there in the Sulakhumbu. Um, I think someone decided it was December 3rd. Probably Rinpoche. But anyway, so make also can dedicate to for Rinpoche to be returned quickly. So you think there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And so we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so, having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering. So think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? And so here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you, and particularly have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. And you never really know when that particular negative karma is going to arise. And it could be very inconvenient and also very painful. So for this, we think for the sake, have a strong aspiration for this, to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings. Then we come to the power of remedy. And this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Gur Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam excuse me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted with any harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body and imagine it's completely purified. So that's your delight. The harm you've done has been purified. And think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And now our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire being. So this time forces up to the top parts of your body, all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the negative speech and the divisive speech, all our kind of like lack of wisdom and intelligent speech, all of this instantly purified by this powerful nectar filling you up and out. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So again, feel really happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine it's the same as when you walk into a room and it's dark and you flick on the switch and the light comes instantly. So you imagine that the light from Vajrasattva's heart chakra hits your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment, neediness, bitterness, grudges, anger, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Te. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And then think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. So you imagine that Vajrasattva very happily again sends light and nectar. So the nectar flows down, pushing out all the negativity of the body. The nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech. And then the light comes and just blasts all of those delusions. So this is happening all at the same time, as well as at the same time that you're visualizing, and you're visualizing all of these things, and then you're chanting at the same time as well. So it's kind of busy. But in this way, you completely eradicate all the very, very subtle negativities from the body, the mind, the speech. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mempiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mata vajrabawa maha samaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita. Tita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kamasita me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Aham Pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to this power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination not to harm with our body and our speech and our mind. To at least think about refraining from harming. And without making a decision like this, we're just going to keep following the same old patterns and habit energies over and over again. Nothing's going to change. So we just decide, just decide. You know, when we make a decision like that, it creates guardrails for us. It's sort of becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. All right, let's do our chanting the names of Manjushri, which were respectfully recited in Illusion's net, the Tantra's most supreme, by multitudes of mighty Vajrapanis, the joyous guardians of secret mantras. Just this I shall uphold with firm resolve until I reach my final liberation, that I may become a great protector, the bearer of all the Buddha's every secret. And this I shall reveal to living beings according to each one's capacity, in order that afflictions may be quelled, so ignorance may fully be dispelled. Okay, so let's just dedicate our practice this evening to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. May he live long and healthy, happy life, and to the swift return of precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And then all of your own individual teachers, and then, of course, of yourselves as we're all of us moving along our spiritual path at our own time, in our own pace. All right, everybody. Lots of love. Shayla, thank you for hosting. Good night, everybody. And I will see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Bye, everyone.